to our Mount Mercy Sports Podcast. Today we're joined by head women's volleyball coach, Coach Deb Marlin, along with Nate Jones, myself, Caleb Rutherford.
Coach, to start off, can you tell us about your volleyball journey and actually introduce yourself however you want to, and then why you became a coach?
Deb Marlin. I am Cedar Rapidian, married, 2 kids, both out of the house, one 2 years out of college, the other 1 year left. I've wanted to coach since the beginning, honestly, since I was your guys' age. I went to college, played volleyball. We had to work summer camps. When I was home for the summer for a couple of weeks, I'd work my high school summer camps, just, truly enjoyed it, and was going to be an education major. And so I knew that those two kind of went hand in hand, and I just truly enjoy being in the gym with young ladies and teaching the game, and I loved playing the game. I love competing, and long story short, I think since those years, there's been 2 years of my life that I haven't coached. So.
Wow.
Okay, it's not that long.
So we just thought of some other questions here. What's your favorite part of the sport of volleyball?
The sport? I'm a very competitive person, so I just love competing. It's a fast-paced game. It can be a very physical game, but it can also be a very finesse game. So, it requires a high level of athleticism, in my opinion. You can't just take a basketball player and put him on the volleyball court. Although a lot of men's volleyball players are former basketball players, but I think a lot of that stemmed from the fact that they didn't have men's volleyball in Iowa back in the day, and still don't, obviously. But so it's just, I don't know. It's, I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, so it's not like I didn't play other sports. And I just was always kind of drawn to volleyball. I was a setter, and so the setter in volleyball is kind of the quarterback of the team. And, as a competitor, I just always kind of enjoyed that aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
What were your thoughts on last season?
Last year's a tricky year for me because from a wins and losses point of view, it wasn't great. 500 team, but we were also extremely young. We had the 3 seniors that we circled with, basically freshmen and sophomores. And there were a couple of matches that I looked at out on the court, and I looked at Jackson and I said, we've got a lot of freshmen on the court right now. And that's just hard because there's such a learning curve. Even if they play, at a 5A school, if they play high-level club, it's still a different game, bigger, faster, more physical. And so that was hard. And so for me, I looked more at last year as how well did we compete. And we competed very well. We played the national championship runner-up early in the year, played them 4, and played them fairly competitively. That Labor Day weekend tournament, we actually played 4 teams that either spent the year or some point in the year in the top 25. So it was a very tough preseason, and I think it helped us prepare for the conference season. I would have liked to finish just a step or 2 higher in the conference season, but still a conference tournament, so top 8, and I think we ended up 6th in the conference. So overall grand scheme of things, I was very happy with it.
Okay. Nice. And you kind of talked about this, having those 3 seniors, and 2 of them that graduated are back now on the team. You have Haley Hested and Riley Mooseman, who are now coaches. Mm-hmm. How does that kind of play into this season?
Yeah, I mean, Rye and Haley, when they were athletes for us, they were very competitive. They had very high expectations of themselves. They understood where I was coming from. I'm the type of coach that I have high expectations for our team because I know we can do it. And, this is also a tough conference to compete in as well, so we have to play at a high level. Those 2 understood that. In addition to that, I didn't have to find their motivation. The hardest part about coaching is if we have to also train motivation, that becomes very difficult and very taxing on a coach. And with those 2, you never had to do that. And their IQ was high, and so it's share some thoughts, share some information, and they're on it. The setter should be an extension of the coach. And Haley and I have always seemed to be on the same page when she was an athlete for us. There's a couple of actually really funny stories where, we're trying to get a break in the play, and I say something off the wall, and she just jumps right on it, and everybody else is like, "Wait, what? She's bleeding." And Alicia, the trainer, was even out on the court, and we're like, "No, she's fine. It's okay." So having them as athletes for 4 years was huge, and losing that, honestly, will probably be the biggest task this year, is finding that type of IQ and that type of just go-get mentality and leadership.
Right. And like you just mentioned, having that need for IQ and leadership, that kind of leads into the next question about what excites you about this current roster.
We're young. We're going to be very young. So that excites me for the future. But it also, there's going to be a lot of those aha moments this year, which can also cause a coach to have stress and anxiety. So, for me, the goal going into this year is to stay calm and let, if we can go into each match and just compete and let the rest take care of itself, the future is bright. And so for me, it's more about what excites me about this team is more the future. We're going to have a good core group back for a couple of years, and just watching them continue to grow and understand how we need to play to compete in this conference is going to be huge.
For sure. And then kind of change directions in kind of your career. What do you think has been like your greatest accomplishments in your tenure as women's head coach?
Here at Mount Mercy, I can't neglect the cliche approach to, being able to say we were one of the first teams or the first team back in 2015 to appear in the national tournament, as it is right now. So obviously that was a huge part of Mount Mercy volleyball program. It's something I'm proud of, but on the flip side, we haven't been back. And so that also frustrates me just a little bit. So, I have to at least mention that, but for me, it's more about the relationships. The thing that I enjoy most about this, and the thing that gets me super passionate, and you'll probably see it here in my eyes in a second, is I love the relationships that I build. I love these ladies to death. I will, do anything for them. And what I'm most proud of is the fact that I have relationships with so many graduates that have long gone. I had someone text me yesterday, actually, and we were joking about something, and she said it's been 20 years since her move-in day.
Wow.
So, that's something that I don't know that I'd say I'm most proud of, but like is most near and dear to my heart about being a coach.
Yeah. Again, like you were just talking, your biggest thing that you enjoy is making those connections. With that, within your position, what is a way that you can develop their skills but also allow them to grow as a person?
Yeah. I'm the type of coach that I'm kind of hard to get to know when they come in as freshmen. And so I really preach and I actually lean on the older kids to help me with this, and that I really push maturity and adult conversations. And if they're, questioning where they stand depth chart wise or concerned about, hey, what do I need to work on? They need to come in and have those conversations with me. And as soon as they have those conversations with me, I think they see that other side of me. Like I said, I want to be here for them, not just volleyball. For me, it's not just volleyball. It's about the total person. I want them to be employable when they graduate. I want them to be successful once they're employed. And so getting them to understand that, yes, I am aggressive in the gym. I am intense in the gym. I'm loud in the gym. But it's because I care so much. Mm-hmm. And you're laughing. You've probably heard me in the gym. So, but it is because I care so much. And if I can get them to a point where they understand that and rely on the returners to help the new faces understand that, I think their whole experience becomes better because they're not afraid to come in and ask for that help. A lot of times people are afraid to ask for help, and it's okay to ask for help. And I want them to, because if I find out something after the fact, it's too late sometimes, and I feel as though I failed them in some regard if that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So kind of on the similar point, you're talking about the skills that you have with these freshmen. What are you looking for with a recruit?
I love athleticism. It's hard in today's society because our AAU type sports, our club sports, are so demanding of the young people, and it's hard on their bodies. So bodies break down. Coaches are demanding of time because of tournaments, because of travel, and all that. And but I do selfishly, as the coach, I like the well-rounded athlete that's a 3 and 4 sport athlete. I like versatility, but then beyond that, character is very important to me. So I want a program that has high character, that's looked upon well across campus, that the instructors know that, hey, when a volleyball player walks in their classroom, this is a kid that's going to be responsible and assertive and take care of things. And so for me, how they, talk with their parents, how they're interacting with their teammates on the court when things are going super well and when things aren't going well. Are we still respecting the game if you're destroying a team, or if you're getting destroyed, in a club match? Are you respecting your teammates? So it's almost like kind of that well-rounded person. It's not just about the volleyball for me. Yes, that's the attraction. That's what catches the eye. But, having the versatility. I've had athletes come through. I've got one right now who have played all 3 front row positions. And, that can sometimes feel like a curse from their point of view. But for me, it's a huge blessing. And so having those kids, if I take my group, I want to take them down on the basketball court, and I want them to compete against our women's basketball team. I want to take them out to the softball field, and I want them to be able to swing a bat, catch a ball. So that
throw
athleticism is throw a shot put, protect the shoulder.
Nice.
As we look ahead, your first competition is August 15th. What is some of the goals that you're looking forward to for this season? At the same time, what are some ways you can keep the girls motivated for the season?
Yeah, so, like I said, we're going to be young this year. So for me, trying to set a specific conference standing goal, a record goal, I think is tough, and one that will cause undue stress. So for me, it's about going into each match, worrying about that match first and foremost, and competing and leaving, win or lose, leaving knowing that, hey, that was our best match to date. Because, we have a shortened preseason this year with the conference, date. And so we don't have a lot of time to prepare in our gym. So there, that first 2 weeks, the Olivet Nazarene weekend and then the following weekend in Joliet, there may be some moving parts just to give other people opportunities. So, if you start worrying about standings and records, things can go south pretty quickly. So, just competing with each other in our practice gym next week in a healthy way. I'm a big advocate of it's we before me. And, being each other's teammate and support system is going to be huge for us. And just going in and competing and not looking at the scoreboard let the rest take care of itself.
Sure. So as you're talking about we versus me, when it comes to team bonding, does that happen naturally with kind of the women's volleyball team, or is that something you have to kind of foster?
Yeah, I don't force them to live together. They choose to live together. When they come in as freshmen, I kind of connect them all, and they decide who they want to live with, and then through the years they typically stay together. There's always a couple people that also find other friends outside of volleyball, and I think that's healthy as well. But my perception is that they're a pretty tight group. I think a lot of that is modeled well with our returners every year. They do a great job of engaging the new faces once we move onto campus. They do a great job of checking in, modeling good behavior in the classroom. In the practice gym, a lot of effort in the practice gym. They do a great job modeling that. So, the culture's in a spot that I'm super proud of. And I think when you have a good culture, those sister-type relationships just kind of naturally cultivate.
Okay. Kind of to shift gears again, if you weren't coaching, not just volleyball, but coaching in general, what would you be doing instead? I know earlier you mentioned a degree in education. Is that something you, even now, you would still want to pursue?
No. So yes, I actually was an educator for 20 years. And actually, when I took over this program, I was teaching next door at Regis for 2 of those years, and then I was only part-time here as the head coach. So, the only job that I've had aside from those crazy, high school, college part-time jobs is teaching. And so I taught for 25 years. So that's all I know. I actually just made the comment the other day I would probably never go back to teaching. I honestly don't know what I would do if I didn't have coaching. I don't have a hard time getting up and coming to the office. I don't look at it as a job. I look at it as something I get to do. I'm here on Sundays occasionally. I'm here late at night at times, and it doesn't seem to bother me. Do I get tired? Yes. Do I get exhausted? Yes, and I'll complain about that. It's like anybody. But, for me, finding motivation to do my job isn't hard. And I think that kind of speaks volumes to if this is your true calling or not. If you have to find motivation for your job, it's not your true calling. And so I just really believe this is my true calling, and I just honestly, I can't even give you a good answer of where else I would be. I don't know, maybe a dolphin trainer. I would love to do that.
Nice. What subject to teach?
When I was in high school, I taught all the business classes, so the accounting, the marketing management.
Yeah, nice.
And then when I was next door at Regis, they don't obviously have those. It's a middle school, so I taught technology classes, computers.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. What's something that most people wouldn't know about you?
Well, I kind of addressed it already. I mean, once you get to know me, I think I'm a pretty loyal person and a pretty, reasonable person and a nice person. I have that gruff exterior, and sometimes it's a little hard to break through that because I'm also kind of shy. Like if you don't know me, if my husband always gives me a hard time. If he makes me go somewhere I don't know anybody, I turn into a wallflower, honestly. And there's some people that might be shocked by that. There's some people that aren't. So that's also part of the, hard for people to build relationships with me and me to build with them. But I think that's probably the biggest one. The feedback over the years as a coach has always been we were scared of you early on. And it's kind of turned into a joke in some regard. And in some regard, I also feel bad about that because that's not my intent in any way, shape, or form. I'm just an intense person. And, I mean what I say and I say what I do, or I do what I say. But if you want a fun fact, I'm a twin. There's girls that will come through and not find that out until like their junior, senior year. So I have a twin brother. So
I've been here for 6 years and I just found out about
that. There you go.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to meet with us and answer some of our questions.
Yeah, it's very cool what you guys are doing. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We want to wish you good luck with your upcoming competitions. Again, August 15th at Olivet. Mm-hmm. Good luck to the rest of the season. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Upcoming, we're going to have our first recap episode the next Tuesday coming out. We're also going to add on previews we'll have soccer attached to that video, and then we'll have other sports as well, previews, interviews with coaches coming up very soon.
Also, don't forget to follow us on all forms of social media. And again, don't forget to hit that bell icon and subscribe to the podcast so you can get more idea of what's coming up. Thank you.